Hello everyone, it's Don. Just curious, can everybody hear me? All right, well we'll get started. Thank you everyone I got a couple of yeses. Oh, three yeses. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Thank you everyone. So, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining. This is another episode of Gold Wingnut Live. I'm here to answer your questions. And Laura's back from suburban Chicago. I don't know how you can stand it up there in that cold weather. Let's see. What's up, buddy? It's Jeff R. Hey, my former neighbor, but still village resident, Jeff. Good guy. All right, so, wow. We got a bunch of questions coming in already, so we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to put my other glasses on because I have my regular glasses on and not my computer glasses, and I can't see the screen. All right, there we go. Oh, hey, that's better. Terry asks, what went into annexing a Finney area and was the area of Adamsville consideration? So Finney used to be a development called Wildwood Springs. It was established in, I think, '05. Of course, you know, things move slowly with any kind of development. And when they did, did start to try and get going, that's when the Great Recession of '08 hit. So things went stagnant. Eventually, the only one that really survived the shakeout in this area was the villages. They ended up buying the property and partnering with the original developer, and that's where Finney came from. Let's see. Next question is from Unschool. Welcome back, Unschool. What do you think of Hotel Eastport? I think it's a great idea. You know, when you look at the hotels in the area, the nearest one to there is going to be the Brownwood Hotel. That's a pretty far piece away from that southern section of the villages. You know, you go farther north, you've got the what do they call it? The water side, the one at Lake Sumter Landing, and then there's like two at Spanish Springs. So they need one a little farther down. And for the school, there's supposed to be a hotel directly across the street from the school, also the high school, where they're going to be hosting, hopefully, pretty big events for high school athletics. So this puts two hotels very close to the high school, which I think is a great plus. All right. Jerry Bell says, I've seen some of the terrible green conditions in the villages. Can you dig in and find out what they're doing about it other than saying they're working on it? Well, grass doesn't grow immediately. I know that they are investigating it. It appears to be a fungus. How the fungus gets spread. It gets spread with the lawn equipment. It gets spread on golf shoes. It could get spread on, your equipment. So it's going to be a long, difficult summer for our golf courses. How they're going to fix it, I don't know. My personal opinion is shut them all down. Every one of them down for 2 or 3 months. Get them back in shape, and make sure everybody cleans their equipment, and the maintenance people clean their equipment prior to getting on the courses. If they had, Jerry again asks, if they had to resod all the greens with a different strain of grass, who pays for it? That would come out of the amenity funds, and that would be north of between 466 and 44. Sumter Landing Amenity Division pays for it. North of 466, it is the RAD fund. Anyway, there's two different amenity divisions. Now, if there's a problem south of 44, then that comes out of the developer's pocket because they still own those golf courses. But yeah, it's going to be expensive. Let's see. Good afternoon, Jeff. All right. All right. Mark Engelhart says, hello. I notice on VLS that they are asking $395-ish for a new Eaton designer home and $370-ish for same models in Dabney. Okay. Has the developer set the price difference because of location? What's the 3 key things in real estate? Location, location, location. Yeah, it makes a difference. When you look at Dabney, you're going to pick up some turnpike noise. There's no doubt about it. I've been out there. I've heard it. Unless you're up in the Enclave, then it's pretty quiet up there. But otherwise, that has a bearing on it. The desirability of the location, when you're talking about Eastport and, closeness to Middleton, that's going to have a huge difference on the value of the home. You see the same thing in the northern areas. When you get around the Lake Sumter Landing area, homes go way up. When we moved here 10 years ago, my wife was fixed on Lake Sumter Landing, and our realtor told us we couldn't afford it. And, the houses were, 30 to 40% higher. Okay. Let's see, Laura says 70 degrees in Chicago today, not typical for Chicago in March. Yeah, I did some time up in North Chicago at the Navy base up there, and wintering over in Chicago is not fun. All right. Cooper 55741 says, I agree. What's up with the golf courses? Okay, we already talked about that. Unschool says, do many visitors who have friends who live in the villages stay in hotels rather than at their friend's home? That's what the video about the Eastport Hotel seems to say. House guests are like fish. After 3 days, they start to stink. I mean, if you got long-term guests, you might want to throw them in a hotel. I can't really say if people make that decision. That's entirely theirs to make, where they put their guests. Let's see. BK says, good afternoon. What is the speed limit on the multimodal paths? And what is your understanding of the traffic officers on the paths? Okay, so the speed limit is 20 miles an hour. That's the speed limit for a golf cart in the state of Florida. If you're going faster than that, it needs to be classified as a low-speed vehicle, and there are different laws that are in place for that, and they require it. They require additional equipment to make it legal. I don't know of any traffic officers on the multimodal paths. The Sumter County Sheriff does not patrol multimodal paths. And I'm not sure, honestly, what their jurisdiction is. I haven't really looked into it. I guess maybe I should know that as a county commissioner, but I don't. But I'll look into it. Bernie P. says, we are considering selling our home near Boston and buying a veranda home in Eastport, particularly the village of Edenfield. Okay, that location seems to have easy access to the Southern Point Bridge, Megason, Morse, and Points North, where friends are located nearby the new Eastport Town Square. Yes. Here we go. I believe Edenfield is bounded on the north by McNeil Drive and the east by Bexley Trail. In the southern and western, is there a southern and western boundary? Yeah. It looks like Corbin Trail. Corbin Trail curves down and around. You'll see some of that in video 137. I just noticed video 137, the first cut on it is burning in the background. That's what you see flashing on the screen over my shoulder. But let's see. I lost my place here. Okay. Do you think the MCM architecture will carry over into the town square? MCM. Unschool, I don't know what MCM means. We always use a lot of TLAs, three-letter acronyms around here, but that one doesn't miss me. I don't know what the new town square is going to look like at Eastport. They have given zero clues. You know, they've hinted, you know, that it had alleyways and that for businesses, reminiscent of stuff in Europe. So maybe that was a clue. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. We don't. Okay. Let's see. Bernie P says we don't know any potential negatives like noise from turnpike or prison or any planned facilities like rock or sand processing. How close is the water processing facility that may be an odor? No, it won't be an odor. They're both the wells, which are just south of the bridge on the same side of the turnpike, is fully operational. That's the Gibson water treatment facility, and the Gibson wastewater treatment facility, which is down by Middleton. It's halfway between Middleton and Eastport. That's fully functional, and there is no odor problem. They are state-of-the-art facilities. Let's see, Bernie says, what do you think the timeline of Edenfield release and subsequent spec homes will be? Any information you can provide is appreciated. So I will tell you, looking at Edenfield when I flew it the other day, it is a long way away. They haven't even put in roads, so it is easily 6 months away before something like that comes up. Yeah, it really depends also how focused they get on that as compared to Water's Edge and Shady Brook. It really is, they're in charge of where they want to sell houses, and that's really what it's all about. Let's see. Unschool says, look, excuse me. Unschool says, looks like the interior lots in the enclave aren't moving. Will they start building spec homes soon? Will they build spec? You know, I think they're going to keep that one going for a while because it is unique. It is the only place right now where you can build a premier home, and there still is a demand for them. Eventually, I think the last few, they'll build as spec homes just to get rid of them. Now, that sounded bad. Just to get the community closed out so they can move on. Excuse me. Let's see. John Berry says, hi Don, any recent flyovers Moultrie Creek? Yes, you'll see them in the upcoming video. Right now I am about halfway done with the voiceover. I'm doing a test run on it to make sure everything is working right. I normally do this about halfway through, and I'm right at the halfway point. So yes, there will be some about Moultrie Creek. Greg R. says, have you heard anything about another premier neighborhood after the Enclave? I saw another YouTuber touring the new Street of Dreams, and many of the home names listed there are premier models. So, you know, the Street of Dreams is that. I mean, they're going to put pretty much everything they can in there to give people an opportunity to shop. I don't believe that this is going to be the last premier home community. I will say, looking at the plans that have been submitted so far, I don't see any lots that are premier home size. Most of them start out with a minimum 60 by 90 lot size. That is the premier and veranda home lot size. Minimum size is 60 by 90, 5,400 square feet. Most of them are larger than that, though. Let's see. Okay. Jerry Bell says multimodal paths are in private property. Jerry, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Multimodal paths will be in district property, which is public property, not private property. If they were in private property, they couldn't be maintained by the district government. Okay. Let's see. Mark Morgan says, how detailed do upgraded landscape plans need to be drawn for submitting to ARC? Can these simply be hand-drawn on a site plan? Most of the time they are hand-drawn on a site plan from what I've seen. Go onto the District Gov website, go to Community Standards section. They'll have the agendas for each of the upcoming ARC meetings. Take a look and see what other people are submitting. That'll give you a good idea what you can submit. Andy S., hello all. Hey Andy, hello to you too. MCM is mid-century modern. Ah, okay, I heard that. That was in the Village's recent video. Let's see, I don't know what mid-century modern is. What is that, modern 50s? I don't know, because we're not at the middle of this century. Let's see, Bernie P says, missed the last two of my questions. RP, Edenfield, spec homes, information. Bernie, I think I got them all. Okay. Let's see. Zot says, hi, are golf carts allowed to use the overpass from Sawgrass to Middleton? Yes, they are. That opened up a couple of months ago. There are specific golf cart lanes on the north side of the bridge. Okay. Mike Lab says, thank you so much for doing this and keeping us informed. I understand Wildwood, which taxes Village's residents, is building a water treatment facility. Does Wildwood charge the developer impact fees? No, well, first off, that facility isn't taking care of the new section of the Villages. The Villages already built the wastewater treatment plant that's handling the Villages. That's the, what do they call it? Gibson wastewater treatment plant, halfway between Eastport and Middleton. So Wildwood doesn't charge impact fees. Impact fees would be charged by the county, and the county isn't building water treatment plants. So now they may charge a connection fee. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. It's something I can. You know what? I'll take that one for action, Mike, and see what I can find out, and we'll bring it back on the next show. Jasker Garrett says, I see you own dogs. I am planning to move to the Villages in the next year. How well do your dogs do in summer? I have 2 German Shepherds and am thinking the heat might be too much. My dogs were born and raised here in Central Florida. They have no problem with it. I mean, obviously, they're not outside dogs. They are not going to be outside 24/7. They are inside dogs. They have a dog door in our master bedroom that goes out to our pool deck, and another one from the pool deck out to the backyard. I have a fenced-in yard, living in a courtyard villa, so they can go outside and come back in whenever they want. And most of the time, they're pretty lazy. I mean, I got one lazy one sitting right here next to me. She's looks like she's sound asleep. Sounds like she's sound asleep with her snoring too. I don't know where you're from. Your dogs obviously will have to get acclimated. If you're from a northern climate, German Shepherds, be prepared for a massive coat blow. They are going to shed like crazy. Let's see. Have you ever spoken face to face with the Morse family? If not, how do you think it would go? The only, let's call it member, and he was a member by marriage at the time, of the, yes, I take that back. I have spoken to one member of the Morse family, so I'll tell you about the 2 instances. The first one was when I first started doing my videos. I was asked to come speak with Ryan McCabe. You've seen him on a lot of the Villages YouTube videos. He used to be married to one of the granddaughters. I don't know what happened. That's not my business. But I know that Ryan still is working for the villages. I believe he's in charge of construction. It was a congenial conversation. Didn't go bad. I did feel like I was being called to the principal's office. They weren't happy about what I was doing, and I thought we had an agreement. I tried to abide by the agreement, but in everything I did, it was never good enough. So they, one thing led to another, some complaints. It didn't go very well for about a year for me, and I still have issues on a relatively regular basis. They're not real fond of me stealing their thunder. The other time I ran into somebody was with Jennifer Parr when they were opening the Azell Recreation Center. I went in to look around. She recognized me right off the bat. Honestly, I didn't recognize her until she started speaking. Then I recognized her voice. Yeah, she was very, very cordial. No conflicts. I enjoyed speaking with her. We talked for about 2 minutes, and then she had things to do. I mean, it was a big deal opening up a new rec center. I hold no malice towards any member of the family, the developer's family, or any of their staff. They have a job to do, and quite honestly, I was in construction for 20 years. They do an incredible job. If I had worked for them, I would probably still be a construction project manager instead of retired, coming up on 6 years now. The last company I worked for, things were just going downhill, and retirement made sense. Let's see. Keith Drumheller says, any idea what the city of Leesburg plans for the area between the Enclave and the rest of Dabney? It's a wetlands area. It won't be developed. Saint Nowhere. Hey, been a while since I've seen your comments. Let's see. Have they started widening Marsh Bend Trail south of McNeil? No. And it's not going to be widened. They're going to improve the shoulder. There's some improvements that are going to go in, but it's not going to be taken to 4 lanes. The county has a grant that they're getting for that work, but there's really no need for widening it to 4 lanes south of McNeil. Let's see. Laura says, Jasker, my friend who lives in the villages owns a smaller dog, short hair. Her dog spends most of the time somewhere in the AC, yeah. Let's see, Mark says, if you have a grass lawn, what do you do to treat the grass to keep it healthy? I lose. It is a losing battle with my 2. If they don't get out and get their exercise, they get bored and they go digging. There are times when my backyard looks cratered, looks like the moon. I am struggling with my yard. I had it resodded 2 years ago. Unfortunately, 2 years ago there was a big problem with St. Augustine, and a lot of it had problems, and it just it's terrible. So I got my work plan ahead of me for the spring, trying to get my yard back in shape. But there are plenty of companies that will do work. I'll be honest with you. If there's a problem with contractors here in this area, it's with landscape contractors. Some of them take advantage of the residents, especially the seasonal residents. They'll instead of cutting the grass every week like they promise, they might cut it once a month. I've seen a lot of issues with it. Many of my neighbors living here in Courtyard Villa community had problems with them. Terry says, what is planned for the open lots north of the turnpike, south of Megason, on either side of Warm Springs? Also, is there anything else going up next to the new CVS in Magnolia Plaza? So I'm assuming okay, let's see. North of the turnpike. Okay, So you're talking on the other side of the turnpike from where Magnolia Plaza is. Right now there is, Encompass is building a rehabilitation hospital. It's 50 beds and then 30 beds, I think it is. It's covered in the next video, just watch it. But there's also a church. I believe it's Hope Lutheran Church is going in on the north side of Warm Springs Avenue. That still leaves quite a bit of commercial property there to be developed. I had expected by now that they would be developing commercial property, but it appears that they're focusing on commercial development, obviously in Middleton and Eastport. Joe says, does the state consider the work on 44 complete? Seems there are a couple of dangerous intersections that could be improved, 44 and Buena Vista, for example. I do not believe it's considered complete. Last report I saw come across my desk said that they still had some repairs to sidewalks that they were working on. You know, that has taken a long time. It just, I wish I had a good answer for you. But you know, as far as a couple of dangerous intersections, 44 and Buena Vista. 44 and Buena Vista was just improved tremendously between the county's efforts and the state efforts to create the Buena Vista extension to take some of the pressure off of Megason Road intersection at 44. Let's see. Would you ever consider working for the villages in some filmmaking capacity? No. I have done some gratis work for Villages Entertainment. They could not get the media group, I guess it was, or the newspaper, to film some of the Christmas tree lightings. This year they asked me if I would, and I did it at no charge for them. And I'll tell you why I said no right off the bat. As soon as I say yes, and I take the developer's money, which I never have, that limits me on what I can say. I'm not, I don't work for the developer, I never have. I've never taken their money. I don't want to take their money. I lose my objectivity if I do. It's more important for me in my videos to be honest, to give people good, unbiased information. Okay, maybe it's not unbiased. I love where I live. This is a phenomenal community, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to show you the positives when I can. But when there's negatives, I'm going to show you that too. I'm not afraid to do that. You might see something like that in the upcoming video 137. Hopefully I'll have it out either very late tonight, but more likely sometime tomorrow afternoon. Let's see, Mark says, if you served on ARC, what was the work and time commitment like? I did not serve on the ARC. I was on the CDD board for CDD 10, and I was on the Project-Wide Advisory Committee. However, I did encourage one of my neighbors to be on the ARC. It's a couple of hours a week, every week, attending the ARC meetings and reviewing it. Your CDD board would have to have an opening. They have a primary and an alternate. Jack did a great job as the alternate. We had an opening on the on the CDD board due to an unfortunate death of one of our members. So I convinced Jack to apply for that. We laugh at when we go out for dinner every Wednesday night, but you know, again, the ARC time requirements is a couple of hours a week. Okay. Keith R. says, do they plan to extend the multimodal path alongside of Marshbend Trail all the way to Central Parkway? Yes, that is happening. You can see it in their online map that they have. Let's see. Is there still road construction on 27441 near Spanish Springs? Last year when I visited, it was quite interesting. Yes, it is still going on. The state, when they started the project, said they would be done spring of 2024. And they're on track to finish sometime this spring. So they've got a couple of more months to work, but it's not bad. It's getting there. Oh. What does a typical week look like for you as it relates to your business? Well, fortunately, a lot of that burden has been taken off from me. I have a gentleman, Adam, who works for me. He does a lot of my housework. I still review everything that he shoots. Yeah, he does some of my video editing for the houses. That takes a big burden off me, but I still have to, deal with my customers. As far as the videos, the YouTube videos, whew, those are taxing. In fact, there it is right there. So this is my run sheet, and this is how I track my video and the different scenes on it. And you can see I'll hold it up there. It's pretty lengthy. This one has, looks like 58 entries on it for different elements in the video. I'll spend normally 8 to 12 hours shooting the video footage. That's the fun part. And then editing is pretty much a couple of hours every night, sometimes longer. Weekends, I spend a lot of time editing. But plus I have another job. I am a county commissioner, so that requires a bit of my time, and that takes priority over everything else. Serving the public is an important aspect of my life, and I think it's something that requires a level of dedication that not everybody is willing to give, even after they get the position, and that's unfortunate. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I also teach at the Enrichment Academy. I do that twice a week, and then I have a drone club where I'm the president of. So pretty busy week. Let's see. Mark says, what should we consider for installing air conditioning in the 3-car garage of our new build in Moultrie Creek? The build will include insulated garage doors. You want to make sure that the attic space above is also well insulated. This is Florida. It gets hot up in the attic, really hot. I mean, it's an oven up there. That would be one of the most important things, is make sure that the attic is insulated. Other than that, the walls are already insulated. It's pretty well built, so you shouldn't have too many issues. You may want to have them install an interlock so that when the garage door opens, the air conditioner shuts off, just to save power. Let's see. Bertas93 says, my first time catching him live. Yay. Hello, everyone. Hey, welcome. Let's see. Unschool asks, do you think Bar Boulevard in Moultrie Creek would be a busy road, or will Central Parkway bear the blunt? Good question. So Bar is going to go out. It's going to go head south. It's going to split Shady Brook and Water's Edge, and then it curves around to the west, and it goes to the intersection where Saluka is, the Saluka Recreation Center, and then goes through Moultrie Creek all the way up to Landstone Boulevard, and then you turn north on Landstone and you'll be at the New Country Club. I think it will have some traffic, but I do think that Central Parkway is always going to be much more busy, because that's going to be the main thoroughfare for traffic. many will find out about the 470, the existing or the old 470 road, and use that to bypass the Middleton area. But no, I don't see Bar Boulevard taking a hit. Let's see. Rich D says, any idea what might be built on the lot just south of new CVS at Powell and 466? You know what, Rich? That's a good question. What's going to be built south of CVS and basically in front of Home Depot? I don't know. It is definitely a lot. It's a small lot. If I had to take a stab at it, I'd say a gas station. Okay. Boy, we're just banging here questions. Thank you, everybody, for keep them coming. I'll try and answer them all today. Okay, Andy S. says, I would love to live in the Villages. I just need to convince myself that I could tolerate the heat, humidity. For now, we just visit our friends during the winter months. You know, that's a common thing. So we have humidity, obviously, yes. But we have the Gulf on one side of the peninsula and the Atlantic on the other. And there's pretty much always some sort of breeze. That helps a lot. Our summers here don't get as hot as most people think. It's hot longer. It's in the mid to low 90s for a lot longer time period. But I cannot remember in my 17 years of living here in Florida ever seeing the temperature above 100 degrees. I've watched on the news many times, New York, Chicago, LA, of course, Arizona, all these communities, they hit the 100 degree, 103, 104 degrees. Yes, it's a shorter time period. But honestly, it's not that bad. You learn how to dress properly. You wear clothes that breathe easily. And it's not bad. I don't see a problem with it. You'll get used to it, I think. Jasker Garrett says, do you think Moultrie Creek would be a better area than Dabney? We just completed the lifestyle visit, but it was hard to get a good visual of the Eastport and surrounding areas. I don't want to tip my hat too much, but this is something that I address in the upcoming video, 137. Yes, I think the Eastport, Moultrie Creek area, I like to call it the Southern Waters area, because you got Water's Edge, Moultrie Creek, Shallow Creek, Shady Brook. It's all water names, so I'm calling it the Southern Waters area. You're sandwiched between two commercial districts. You're very close. You've got 3 executive courses being built. You've got a championship course there. That whole area is surrounded. I think it's going to be a great place to be. So if I had a choice, yeah, I would take that instead of Dabney. What's your personal favorite activity in the Villages outside of work? Golf, for example, air guns, golf, RC airplanes, archery, pickleball, cardio drumming, etc. So obviously, I enjoy flying drones. This is something I've been into for a little over 7 years now. I'm the president of Drone Club. I'm the founder of the Drone Flyers Club. We do a lot. I'll be honest with you though, I get a lot of pleasure out of working. I'm a workaholic. I have been all my life. 20 years in the Navy, you either worked or you slept. And I sleep about 6 hours a night. The rest of the time is running like crazy. When I can though, I do enjoy playing golf. Right now it's down to about 1 day a week, but I enjoy it. I have some great neighbors. We have a neighborhood group every Saturday morning that goes out and golfs, and it is definitely the highlight of my week. We do a round of golf, and then we go to breakfast. and we solve the world's problems at breakfast. So let's see. Let's see. Laura says, Andy S., visit in the summer months for a couple of weeks if you have time. I've done this several times in the summer. Yeah, definitely visit during the summertime. It's really not as bad as most people think it is. I don't find it bad. One of the things I did, though, after a few years here, is I put a pool in my backyard. I know we have lots of neighborhood pools, over 103, I think is the current number, and more coming. But, you can't sit in the pool at 10 o'clock at night with a glass of wine talking to somebody you love at one of the public pools. They close at dusk. I sometimes get up in the morning and go for a swim first thing in the morning. Going to a neighborhood pool at 5 in the morning, that isn't going to happen. They don't open until 7. All right. Let's see. Unschool says, Dabney has much higher taxes and is far from everything. I'll agree with the former, and temporarily I will agree with the latter. I think there's a lot coming at that interchange of the turnpike, but it's just a few years away. They've only got so much bandwidth, and think about it right now. They're building, 250, 300 houses a month, plus they're building 2 complete towns in the town squares. Let's see. Kyle Reed says, great show, Don, the Village's Lifeguard. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. Let's see. Laura says, I would rather have 92 degrees and... I would rather have 92 degrees than 10 degrees and 6 inches of snow, but that's just me. My doggy is also not fond of the cold weather. One of the greatest experiences of my life was selling my show snubble when I left Memphis. Cold is a 4-letter word. Snow is a 4-letter word. Keep it there. Thomas Luck says, as an ex-Villager E-Flyers RC pilot, just want to say how much I appreciate your professionalism. Keep up the good work. Moved to Stonecrest 5 years ago. Well, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate the compliment. Greg R. says, have you seen the new verandas that back to Bar Boulevard across from Moultrie Creek Rec Center? I'm surprised to see the low wall giving a view of Bar and the rec area. Yeah, I've seen that. I thought that was interesting too. The Villages is definitely creative in their efforts. It's not for everybody, and certainly those won't be for everybody, but if it's what you want, I say go for it. I don't find them unattractive, but again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not something I would personally buy. Mark says, where do you take your cars for service, repair, and why? Most of the time I take them up to, I believe it's a Goodyear store right next to, I'll get it out in a second. It's right in front of Home Depot and next to Sam's Club at the north end. I used to have to take my company truck there for maintenance because they did all our fleet maintenance for us. And I was just always happy with the service I got, so I keep going there. Let's see. Bill says, great show once again, Don. As someone who has been working with a sales rep for the Villages for a year now to try and find the right house and location, I can honestly say that the bonds are an issue. You're going to pay it no matter what. Any other community, they're going to roll it into the price of the house. Don't let the bonds be a stopper. People say, well, the bonds have never been higher. You're absolutely right. And they will never get lower because prices continue to increase. The bonds my bond, when I bought my house 10 years ago for Courtyard Villa, it was just over $13,000. Now the bonds for a typical villa are over 20. Why? prices go up. Go to the grocery store and, be sure you take your nitroglycerin pills because you're going to have a heart attack when you look at the prices. Everything goes up. Gas prices go up. It's just the nature of things. So I wouldn't get hung up on it. Let's see. Terry asked, did the villages make a mistake by not placing an outdoor entertainment venue such as Edna's on the green in the Lake Denham or Dabney area? Yes and no. That was one of my predictions last year for there to be a venue like that. And I think that there might be a need for it, but I think they own the land south of 470, on the other side of 470, and it's going to be made. 470 is going to be made into 4 lanes. They're obviously going to put some multimodal tunnels underneath it. I think we're going to see another small entertainment venue like that down there, but it's going to be a couple of years. Let's see. Whew, boy, Sarah J says, in the Eastport area of the villages, will there be walking paths like those in Lake Denham, Dabney? We love the paths that curve around the ponds and borders and preserves, but don't see any of those at Moultrie. So no, there is none at Moultrie that I have seen. I've been looking. This came up 2 weeks ago, and I've been looking quite a bit. I looked the last time I flew, and those areas are traditionally around retention ponds and wetlands areas. So there's only, in Moultrie Creek, there's one big wetlands area. It's surrounded by the golf course on the south, and what would that be? I gotta look at a map here. The south and the east side, and on the north and the west side, it's got Moultrie Creek, and more of the golf course. Because there's no wetlands areas, they don't have it. Now, Eastport area, that's a little different. There's a lot more wetlands area, and I think you're going to see it. I know that around the Central Lake, the 1 kilometer lake that they've built, there is a walking path that's quite long. I think it's 1 kilometer down one side and 1 kilometer down the other side. So yeah, it's a pretty good sized path. So yes, I think so. But in the Eastport area. Let's see. Marcus says, hi Don, what do you think? Well, when do you think they will start building or offering premium lots at the Wellpoint area? I think it's still a couple of months out. Right now they're focusing on Moultrie Creek. I'll get it. Sorry, my brain runs too fast. Shady Brook and Water's Edge. And there's another village just south of it. Let me look at my map here. I can't see it. I gotta get my I can't even read it in my glasses. It's too small. So, by the way, this is the map that you see in my videos. If you're looking for a copy of it, you can download a copy of it from my website, goldwingnut.com. Just look at the tab for Villages Map, and all the latest versions are up there. Bill does a good job making these for me, and it's a passion for him, and it's been a great asset for the last year. One of the things I look at to figure out where they're going next is the neighborhood pools and postal stations. And what you'll see in 137 is that obviously Moultrie Creek is postal station and recreation area is done now. Shady Brook is almost done. Water's Edge, it's in progress, and they just started on Wellpoint. So I think Wellpoint's probably 3 or 4 months away. They're going to focus on the southern part first, get that area sold. That's important for them. Along with selling houses in Wellpoint, that's when the path going up to Monarch Grove along McNeil Drive, that's when they'll open that, not until. All right. Um, Culvsy, sorry on the name, Culvsy. Do you know, just jumped here. Do you know what healthcare services will be offered in Eastport? My wife does ultrasound and I would be working remotely. Um, wow, you say ultrasound. I hope you're not talking about, for pregnant women, because you're not going to get a lot of business for that here in the villages. In fact, I don't think you'll get any. But I would say it's going to be just like the other healthcare facilities. I use the one up in Pinellas. Um, they have a doctor's office with a wide variety of services there. I know they have x-ray machines. They have a lot of stuff. There may be an option there. If I was you, I would tell her, start asking the questions, start querying Village's Health, tell them you're interested in that facility. It's going to be, it's going to be opening here probably, within 6 months or so. Jerry asks, hello Don, why doesn't the Villages offer condominiums? Too much of a headache. Oh my gosh. They want to build houses and be done with it. Condominiums are a long-term thing that they be involved with. I don't think they don't really want the headaches. They've done some, I believe they're condominiums at least, up near Spanish Springs and also up near Glenview Country Club, right near the entrance. But no, single-family homes is where they're stuck with. Marcus asked, do you see a Costco in the Village's future? Thank you. Marcus, I don't know. Costco is a different animal, and I know that they have been courting them for an extended period of time. Whether they ever pull the trigger, there's rumors that surface every week. It seems like somebody talked to the manager at the Costco down the road, said, yes, definitely, they told us, but yet we've seen nothing official come out from Costco. And the other guy's brothers, cousins, Barbara's sister-in-law told him for sure that it's coming there. It is what it is. I don't think, we will know when Costco decides to tell us, and that's all there is to it. Again, there's not a huge business base here yet that would attract Costco, and a lot of their business is working towards supporting large businesses. For example, I know that down in Polk County, where Publix is at, they're one of their big customers. Because Publix not going to use the 3-pound cans of coffee. I guess they're only 2.5 now. The 3-pound cans of coffee from the grocery store in the office building. Now they're going to use they're going to buy the 1,000-pack of Keurig or whatever the heck they are, things like that. So it's a different business model than Sam's and Home Depot. Let's see. Unschool says, I think it would be great if there was a shuttle service between downtown squares. Has it ever been considered that you know of? Not that I've ever known. Most people are using their golf carts, and there's not. When you start doing a bus service, it's got to at least break even, and I don't see it. I really don't. Part of the problem is the village is just so massive. If you had one bus, it would take forever to drop people off. Because if you just drop people off, along the main roads, they could have a mile walk. That's not going to be. That's not going to work. So, I don't see it happening. It's a golf course. It's a golf cart community, and that's what most people use, and it works very effectively. And it's much more flexible than a bus service. Let's see. Patty says, I would love to see both Costco and a shuttle service in the villages. Well, um, I wouldn't hold my breath. I don't know, definitely I don't see any shuttle service, and Costco is anybody's guess. Um, let's see. Sarah J says, about how many homes will there be in Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook, Water's Edge? I knew this at one point. I looked at it a couple of months ago when they first started putting out plots. I would have to go digging and look it up. I don't have that information right now, but I'll try and remember for the next, the next broadcast. Jerry Bell says, any Gold Wingnut Foundation events in the future? So yes, we're involved with the spring thing that's happening in here in the Villages and in the city of Wildwood. It's right across the street, basically from Brownwood. You'll be able to get there by golf cart. You just have to walk across the street. That is the 23rd. There's an announcement on that again in video 137. So there's that. And I'm looking, once we get past that, to start some ice cream socials. Once again, that's always a good time, and it's a good time to do the question and answers also. Let's see, Andy S. says, speaking of coffee, Foxtail in the Villages is the best coffee I've ever had. I'll have to give it a shot. My wife just came home. I'll have to give it a shot. For me, I'm still a Maxwell House drinker, and you can see that's what I'm doing here. All right, so Todd and Cecile said, we are looking at an Anchor 5 cottage villa around Eastport because our year-old golden retriever with so many pet owners. Do you see an increase in villas and verandas? So they are doing a tremendous amount of veranda homes. They are very popular. I actually think they're scaling back on the courtyard villas because people like the veranda homes. They're basically designer homes with a fenced-in yard. For me, I have my 2 golden retrievers, and the driving factor for our location, or not so much for our location, but for our home selection, was a fenced-in yard. I'm fortunate I got a corner lot. My bird cage is 1,700 square feet in my backyard, and I still have plenty of room for my dogs to dig. And do they dig? Anyway, so, golden retrievers, you gotta love them. We absolutely love ours. They're the love of my life when they want to stick around. Let's see. Mike Lab says, thank you again for the broadcast. I certainly enjoy it. Enjoy your week. Okay, thank you, Mike. Where are we at on time? Holy mackerel, we are coming up. Let's see, the Village and Costco should be contacting Costco to invite them to build in the area. They have been, as far as the Villages has. There is plenty of demand and population for Costco. Again, Grace, there is the market demographic. We are a bunch of senior citizens, and we have different buying demands than a business has, or a younger population, and they have to adjust their stocking to that, and also we have this cyclic environment of our community. In the summertime, the population drops to about half as the seasonal residents go back up north. Why, I don't know. Florida is much prettier, but I could be biased. You can't force them to come here, okay? But, they have been courted extensively. Sean McDermott says, I read somewhere that Florida is considering removing property taxes and raising sales taxes. Thoughts? So I haven't heard this one. I get a brief every week of the legislative update, things that are happening in the state capitol. As a county commissioner, we have a lobbyist that works for us, and they provide us a legislative update. Also, the Florida Association of Counties has a weekly presentation that they put out that talks about the different bills. And that is one that I have not seen, about removing property taxes and raising sales taxes. I just don't see that happening. You know, I look at the budget numbers, and if you take the county property tax and compare it to what we get in sales tax revenue, the county property tax is roughly 4 times our sales tax revenue. Sales tax revenue is a significant source to our budget, but it's only about 20%, which, if you think about it, to make it back up, just simple math, then we've got to do what? Quadruple our sales tax? It's already 7%. That's not going to work. Working on sales tax, the numbers just don't work. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Unschool. I appreciate that. Yes, everybody, please be sure to hit the like button. St. Nowhere says, well done, thank you, appreciate all that you do. So, you saw the video burning in the background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the broadcast myself, but I'm going to play what I've got done on the video. And so those of you who are sticking around to watch it, you know, you'll get a sneak peek of what's coming tomorrow. It's about half done, but hopefully you'll like what you see. Give me some feedback. Once I post the actual video, then I will edit that out. And, oh, I got to take that one. John and Jane, I'll get right back to you. Once the video comes out, the full completed one, then I'll edit it out of the live broadcast. So I want to get back to some of these questions because I love this one. John and Jane ask, there are rumors of a large water park adjacent to the villages. Know anything about this? Yeah, I know it's not coming. Okay. You have to understand what the concept is behind this big giant water park. They don't talk about it, but you go digging on their website, and what it is, it's a heat sink for a large thermal load. So this would be like a data center or a large building complex, like a large hospital complex. You know, instead of rejecting the heat to the air, it's rejected to the water. The water is used to heat the swimming pool and water park area. There's no heat load here for that. Even if they build a hospital, it's not going to be what we had originally hoped for. Because, you know, Shands has backed out. It's not going to be a teaching and research hospital. It's just going to be a basic hospital whenever they finally get somebody to agree to build it. So the heat load's not there, and, you know, piping it someplace, if they were gonna do that, they'd be digging the pipes right now. So it's not happening. You know, many companies put out, say, a list and say, these are our targets for the next, 5 years, and maybe 1 in 10 will fall through. But, you know, they're target customers. It just, the concept is great, but again, there's no heat source for them, and really, there's not a big clientele. You know, there's not a lot of kids here. So anyway, that's my take on it. I've gone through that a dozen times probably. Patty says, thanks, great show. Mark Morgan says, does the villages have any disaster preparedness resources? Has it been put in place in the past storms? What do you recommend for a family to be prepared? So no, that is not the village's responsibility. Disaster preparedness belongs to the county. The villages, the district government does not provide those resources. Our recreation centers cannot be used for shelters. They are not designed for it. They don't have all the facilities needed. The county does have multiple facilities throughout the county for those that need it. You know, there's a big disaster preparedness expo that normally happens, I want to say in April or May, to get people prepared for hurricane season. You know, most of it's common sense: batteries, flashlight, backup power for your cell phone, water, meds, you know, food, a regular can opener, a hand can opener, non-electric can opener. But you know, just typical stuff. You know, we're fortunate where we sit here in the villages. We're in the middle of the peninsula, so most of the time when the storms get here, it doesn't really impact us. Oh, all right. I think we've hit everything. I have a bunch of questions here, but we're gonna just leave those for next week. And oh wow, we're down to only a handful of participants. I don't know how many people joined today. I never got a chance to look. But again, thank you all for joining. Please enjoy life. You know, this is really the end game, the fourth quarter in our lives for most of us. It is time to enjoy and make the best of things and not dwell on the negative. With that, I will go ahead and stream the first half of video 137 for you, and you can watch that. So let me pull it up here. I think that's it. Last transition. And let's see. Oh, looks like it's going to go. All right. Hi everyone, it's Don once again with another video for you. This is video number 137. In making this video, in the last 2 weeks, I have visited over 50 locations here in the villages. And I've shot video footage at most of them, and I'm going to bring that to you in this video. There's a lot to cover, there's a lot going on. One of the questions that I'm frequently asked, as are most villagers who've lived here a while, is which is the best village to live in? And where's the best place to buy? Well, the first question is an easy answer. I can tell you that, and I can give you the same answer that most villagers are going to give you. It's my village, where I live. Why? Because that's where my friends are. That's where I've made my life here in the villages, and it's a great place to be. Everybody else is going to tell you the exact same thing, wherever they live. So it's up to you to make up your mind on where you want to live and what's important to you. Now, the second question, where's the best place to buy? I've been given that a lot of thought, and in this video, I'm going to show you that area. For the next 2 years, this is going to be the place to buy. This is where you're going to want to be. I'll show you that area in a few minutes. But for now, let's get started and take a look at what's happening here in the villages as we continue to follow the dream.